All right, let's talk about timing. Because if you've been sitting on the idea of getting your work vehicle wrapped and you want it out there doing something for you during thunder season, the calendar just moved on you. The home dates are posted. Not all of them yet, but enough to plan around. And that's the whole point of this one, not the basketball, but what those dates mean if you drive a van, a truck, or a car around Oklahoma City with your business name on the side. Or if you've been meaning to put your name on the side and haven't gotten around to it. So here's what's on the board so far. 5 Oklahoma City home games have full details published. Sacramento comes in on December 16th. Then there's a New Year's Eve game against Miami on December 31st. Utah on January 15th. The Knicks on February 7th. And Golden State on April 8th. Those went up in the middle of August, and more will fill in as the schedule rounds out. Now, why does a wrap shop care about a basketball schedule? Fair question. Here's the thing about wrap advertising that a lot of people get backwards. They picture a big highway drive, 65 miles an hour, thousands of cars streaming past their logo. Sounds great. It's actually the worst-case scenario for your money. What wraps run on is dwell time, how long your vehicle sits in somebody's field of view. That's it. That's the whole mechanic. Nobody memorizes a phone number at 70 miles an hour. They don't even really see the design, they see a colored shape go by. But somebody standing on a corner in Bricktown waiting for a light to change, with your truck sitting 15 feet away for 90 seconds. That person reads every word. Game nights downtown are basically a dwell-time machine. Traffic around the arena slows to a crawl. People are walking between parking lots and restaurants and the doors. They're not in a hurry, they're not looking at a windshield, they're just wandering and looking around at whatever's in front of them. That's the single best condition your graphics will ever be in, which is also why wrapped work vehicles earn their keep in dense areas rather than on open road. If your crew spends the day in neighborhoods, in parking lots, sitting in traffic, that vehicle's working. If it lives on the Broadway extension, it's mostly just a nice paint job, designed for that environment. Big readable type, 1 phone number, not 3, 1 web address, and enough contrast that it still reads under parking lot lighting after dark, because a good chunk of your game night impressions are happening at night in orange sodium light from 40 feet away. A design that looks gorgeous on a laptop screen at full brightness can completely disappear in that setting. Let's talk about coverage, because not everybody needs the same thing. Full coverage means the factory color's gone. The whole body becomes your canvas. That's the right call when the vehicle genuinely is a primary marketing asset. It's out all day. It's parked in visible places. It's the thing people associate with your business. Partial coverage uses the doors, the rear quarters, the tailgate, and leaves the base color showing through. And honestly, a well-designed partial gets you most of the visibility for a fraction of the price. If budget's the deciding factor, don't assume you need the whole vehicle covered to get results. You usually don't. If you've got several vehicles, treat them as one project. Run the fleet through a single design cycle and a single install window. Your branding stays consistent, nobody ends up with the odd-looking truck, and the per-vehicle cost almost always comes down. Personal vehicles are a completely different conversation. A satin or gloss color change isn't about impressions or leads, it's about how you want the car to look. Different goal, different discussion. Now, lead time. This is where people get caught out. 2 things control your calendar, and only one of them is us. The first is design approval. The second is shop availability. Design is where the time actually goes. If you've got usable logo files and one person making decisions, you can approve artwork in a few days. Easy. But if it has to go through a committee or 3 people who all have opinions or someone who's out of town for a week that stretches past 3 weeks without anyone doing anything wrong, it just happens. The install itself takes days, not hours on a full vehicle. And if the vehicle has fresh paint or new bodywork, add cure time on top of that, because vinyl should never go over paint that hasn't fully hardened. That's not us being fussy. That's the difference between a wrap that lasts and one that lifts. So work it backward. If you want the vehicle on the road for a December date, your artwork should be settled by early autumn. That gives you room for a proofing round, a booking slot, and the actual install, with nobody rushing anything at the end. A quick word on cold weather, because people worry about this and mostly worry about the wrong part. Vinyl does behave differently as temperatures drop. Adhesive needs warmth to flow and bond properly, and installers need a heated, clean, controlled space. But any proper shop handles that indoors year-round. That's not the problem. What winter actually changes is demand. Every business in the metro decides at roughly the same moment that they want the vehicle looking sharp before the holidays. September and October slots are just easier to get than January ones. That's the real constraint. One more thing worth knowing. A wrap does protect your paint from light abrasion and UV, which is a nice bonus. But the front of the vehicle still takes a beating on I-35 and I-40. If you're running metro highways every day, ask about clear protective film on the leading edges at the same time. It's a lot cheaper than dealing with rock chips later. So if you're thinking about it, here's what makes the conversation quick. Bring 3 things: your logo files, the year, make, and model of the vehicle, and the date you want it back on the road. We'll tell you straight whether that timeline works. And if it doesn't, we'll tell you what date does. We'd rather be honest up front than have you disappointed in December. That's Car Wrap Oklahoma City. Give the shop a call at 405-669-4371 and we can talk it through. We look after customers across Oklahoma City, Edmond, Yukon, Moore, and Norman, and most drop-offs fit around a normal work week without leaving anybody stranded. Get on the calendar while the calendar's still open. Thanks for listening.